This is the recorded video for week 3, day 2. So today, again, we are going to finish up your notebook. Just a reminder, your quiz will be on Thursday for my off period and on Friday for my even period. Same thing with the notebook. We'll finish up the notebook today, and your notebook is due next Monday for my off period and next Tuesday for my even period. Please also double check Stream on Google Classroom, and on Stream you will see the rubric for segment 1 scope 2 notebook, and it will go slide by slide what you need to do in each slide and any link that you need as you complete each slide. There's also the table of contents on the bottom for both odd and even period. So with that, let's first take a look at our review video today, Cell versus Virus. You'll also see the link to this video on the description below.
You're in line at the grocery store when, someone sneezes on you. The cold virus is sucked inside your lungs and lands on a cell on your airway lining. Every living thing on Earth is made of cells, from the smallest one-celled bacteria to the giant blue whale, to you. Each cell in your body is surrounded by a cell membrane, a thick, flexible layer made of fats and proteins that surrounds and protects the inner components. It's semi-permeable, meaning that it lets some things pass in and out, but blocks others. The cell membrane is covered with tiny projections. They all have functions, like helping cells adhere to their neighbors or binding to nutrients the cell will need. Animal and plant cells have cell membranes, only plant cells have a cell wall, which is made of rigid cellulose that gives the plant structure. The virus that was sneezed into your lungs is sneaky. Pretending to be a friend, it attaches to a projection on the cell membrane, and the cell brings it through the cell membrane and inside. When the virus gets through, the cell recognizes its mistake. An enemy is inside. Special enzymes arrive at the scene and chop the virus to pieces. They then send one of the pieces back through the cell membrane, where the cell displays it to warn neighboring cells about the invader. A nearby cell sees the warning and immediately goes into action. It needs to make antibodies, proteins that will attack and kill the invading virus. This process starts in the nucleus. The nucleus contains our DNA, the blueprint that tells our cells how to make everything our bodies need to function. A certain section of our DNA contains instructions that tell our cells how to make antibodies. Enzymes in the nucleus find the right section of DNA, then create a copy of these instructions called messenger RNA. The messenger RNA leaves the nucleus to carry out its orders. The messenger RNA travels to a ribosome. There can be as many as 10 million ribosomes in a human cell, all studded along a ribbon-like structure called the endoplasmic reticulum. This ribosome reads the instructions from the nucleus. It takes amino acids and links them together one by one, creating an antibody protein that will go fight the virus. But before it can do that, the antibody needs to leave the cell. The antibody heads to the Golgi Apparatus. Here, it's packed up for delivery outside the cell, enclosed in a bubble made of the same material as the cell membrane. The Golgi Apparatus also gives the antibody directions, telling it how to get to the edge of the cell. When it gets there, the bubble surrounding the antibody fuses to the cell membrane. The cell ejects the antibody, and it heads out to track down the virus. The leftover bubble will be broken down by the cell's lysosomes, and its pieces recycled over and over again. Where did the cell get the energy to do all this? That's the role of the mitochondria. To make energy, the mitochondria takes oxygen, this is the only reason we breathe it, and adds electrons from the food we eat to make water molecules. That process also creates a high-energy molecule called ATP, which the cell uses to power all of its parts. Plant cells make energy a different way. They have chloroplasts that combine carbon dioxide and water with light energy from the sun to create oxygen and sugar, a form of chemical energy. All the parts of a cell have to work together to keep things running smoothly. And all the cells of your body have to work together to keep you running smoothly. That's a whole lot of cells. Scientists think there are about 37 trillion of them.
Again, if you'd like to review the video, you can click on the description below. Now, in this video, we can see how all the different organelles, they come together to fight the virus. Now, at this time, we are going to take a look at slide 16 in your notebook, and then we are going to be reviewing with the study guide. Okay, make sure to open that in your Google Classroom. Click on classwork. Go down to notebook. Click on segment 1 scope 2 digital notebook and click right here. Again, segment 1 scope 2 digital notebook, and we are going to open up to slide 16. Now please note that this one right here that I'm using, this is my presentation, so it's a little bit different from your numbering from your notebook, but this will be slide 16 in your notebook. Alright, let's take a look right here. Study guide, fill in the blank. So on the left right here, you are going to see the different word available on the very left. If you cannot see the word, you do want to click the zoom out button right here. So you can click right here and click zoom out to see all the words. So let's start out by putting plant cells only on the left. And we will put animal and plant cells right here on the right. Now let's think about it. What are two parts that only plant cells have and animal cells do not have? Again, the question is, what are two parts that only plant cells have and animal cells do not have? And yes, they are number 1, the cell wall, and number 2, chloroplasts. So we will put cell wall and chloroplast under plant cells. And for animal and plant cells, we have cell membrane that both animal and plant cells have, nucleus, as well as mitochondria. Now let's think about the function. So we have 5 terms left on the left right here. What is the function for cell wall? Which one of this describes the cell wall? And yes, that would be protect and support the cell. So cell wall give a rigid layer for plant cells only. For plant cells, so that's why plant cells you usually see a more rectangular or square shape. Chloroplast, what do you think is the description for chloroplast? Take a look right here. Which of this can describe chloroplast? And it's right here. Capture energy from the sun to make food. So again, plant cells, they do not need to eat food. They can make their own food by using sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water. And next in 7th grade, you'll learn more about this process called photosynthesis as well. Now, how about cell membrane? We have 3 left right here. Which of this describe cell membrane? So in the cell organelle scavenger hunt, we describe cell membranes like the door because they control what move in and out of the cells. So what kind of molecule move in and out, how much water go into the cell or how much water goes out of the cells. Nucleus, that's the part that controls the cell activity. That's also the parts that contains DNA. And mitochondria, that is the last one. So that is the one that breaks down sugar to produce energy. And again, next in 7th grade, you'll learn more about chloroplast and mitochondria in the process that is called photosynthesis as well as cellular respiration. But for right now, just know the function of each of these organelle. Alright, so with that, make sure to fill in the blank for slide 16. And let's move on to slide 18. Again, if you need to pause this video to make sure you fill it in first, go ahead and pause this video right now. Alright, so now we will move on to slide 18. Alright, now in slide 18, this is the same question that we saw earlier on slide number 4. We answered slide number 4 right before fall break. And the question we answered that time was, how can a single cell organism sustain life? How can a cell be alive while a virus is not alive? And at that time, we had a class discussion, so you were able to hear from some of your classmates what they think a cell has to be considered alive and how is it different from a virus. Now, after that, we spent some time to look at what there are inside cells. We take a look at the different cell organelles, the different function that they have, and the different parts. And within that, we did the 3D cell tour, the cell organelle scavenger hunt, the brain pop video, the Gizmo lab on cell structure. We also call this the What Am I virtual lab, SCP simulation, content connection video, Stemscopedia, and you also got a chance to choose your activity yesterday. Now with that, go ahead and take a look at this question again. What does a cell has that allow it to be alive? How do they sustain life? What are they able to do to sustain life? Afterward, make sure to provide an evidence what you gather in your notebook. Okay, so take a look at your previous pages. What was one of the activity that tells you about what a cell is able to do? What is there in the cell? What are the function of cell organelle? So this is the sentence stem that I provide to you. You can edit the sentence according to your notebook. So you can say, from the Stemscopedia article, I've learned ... or I from the brain pop video, or from the Gizmo lab. Okay, so just draw one evidence from any of the activity that we went over that can help you to support your answer right here. What does the cell has, or what is the cell able to do to stay alive? Go ahead and pause this video, take some time to think about it, and answer the question. Alright, with that, our last activity for today is Kahoot Self Organelle Challenge. The link again is posted in the description below, so please check the link below on the self-paced Kahoot that you can do. Have a great day, everyone. Let me know if you have any question. Bye-bye.